They do have a special tool for this. It's called a Zeus fastener tool. I don't have one.
You can use a flat screwdriver if you don't have one.
Are you sure?
You can. Not recommended, but you can.
So I'm also going to say...
Welcome to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. On this episode of Sam's Garage, Sam and Kevin install new aluminum inner fenders on the Jeep Wrangler. Sam and Doug prep and install the new rear bumper for the Thunderbird. Action Off-Road is in town to help Sam install a new exhaust on a Can-Am side-by-side. And then the team shifts gears by installing a set of rock sliders. Kevin's Jeep Wrangler gets a new set of aluminum inner fender liners from American Adventure. The new inner fenders are designed to provide more protection over the stock plastic ones. In addition, they can be quickly removed for easy access to critical components while out on the trails.
This week we're going to be installing the inner fender liners on our JL Jeep. And what kind are we using today?
So American Adventure Labs has a complete bolting kit. No drilling, no fabrication required. Now I did go with the standard kit, not the 392 kit / diesel kit, because this washer reservoir is in the way and we're running 40s, so we want to make sure we've got all the clearance we can.
There you go, that's cool. Now the Jeep is in the same situation that it was last week as far as the rack position, because we're going to be hanging suspension after this. Once we do that, we can put the rear leg arms underneath the Jeep and bring it back down and put on our wheels.
American Adventure Labs is really detailed in their install kit. From the factory, there's different weld spatters just from manufacturing process, and they vary. But to get the brackets perfectly flush, we just came in here and cleaned it up a little bit with some sandpaper, and then we went back with some paint just for rust prevention. And then now we can install the bracket and continue on.
Because this is such thin aluminum, it's kind of a big panel, it can get noisy, it'll rattle. It's a good idea to take a piece of boom mat. There's a small piece here, a small piece here. You don't have to cover the backside, but one piece on the surface area will make a big difference. 3 little pieces on this, and it'll be a much quieter panel. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. So these are Zeus fasteners. They're a really quick way to disconnect a panel from the body.
There's a spring on the backside. This is cam. It goes right in here, grabs it, and as you twist it, it pulls the spring and tightens the panel together. They do have a special tool for this. It's called a Zeus fastener tool. I don't have one. We're going to be installing the rear fender liners now. We have removed the factory fender liner, and then we're going to remove the factory fender. And the Jeep JL has these locking one-time use plastic clips that they use from the dealership. We're going to cut them out because we don't need them. We're going to use a hammer and chisel to get them, because some of them you can't get to the backside to pinch the portion of the clip that you need to release them. We're going to be using nut certs on the body of the car to hold the new hardware in and the new fenders in. If you guys don't have a nut cert tool, in the instructions it's going to show you exactly how to do this with a bolt, couple of washers, and a nut.
Yeah, you want to try to use a nut that's got a little grip on it and keep this from spinning while you're turning. And this nut is an oversized nut. You can see it just slides in, and this is just so that it doesn't get bound. Earlier Sam was talking about the clips not being reusable. You can see there's no way to get to the backside of this clip, and they're pretty aggressive. So we sliced it off. It's kind of in the way, but when you push this rivet nut in there, it'll just fall down in the cavity and it won't be an issue.
Now we're going to be installing the brackets that's going to be basically holding the fenders in, and they got the Zeus fasteners to hold the inner fender liners in that we're installing.
Right, so we put this up here. It's got a little screw. You can hold this for alignment, because we're actually sandwiching this between the factory fender and the body.
It's a very good idea to clean in between the two. You saw me take a rag and clean the body off before we put this on. We don't want any debris in there scratching up the paint. So just like we discussed with the front fender and putting a little piece of boom mat on the backside, they also have spray-on boom mat where you can cover more surface area. It'll stick on there. You can still take everything off and clean it up. That's going to give you a lot of better sound protection and just make it overall more quiet. Those fender liners look really nice, Kevin. Not only do they look nice, but they look like they give you a lot of added protection.
They do, and they come out in just under a minute. I mean, we can take these Zeus fasteners out, and then we can do whatever we need to do, clean, make clearance for our coilovers.
Yep. Because next week we're going to be installing the coilover kit, so we are going to have to remove them so we don't damage them, and they may require a little bit of trimming. So join us next week when we install the coilover kit, and that way we can take this guy down off the lift and see what it looks like on the ground.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Sam and Doug wrap up the bumpers for the 57 Thunderbird by installing a new rear chrome bumper. The bumper is 2 pieces, so the guys get it assembled first before mounting it to the frame. And just like last time, they tack everything in place before welding everything completely.
So last week, Doug and I installed the front bumper, brand new in our case. We got another brand new bumper for the rear. It's in 2 pieces, and we got to assemble it and put it on.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead, just like yesterday, Sam. We'll go ahead and put everything together onto it, then we'll have to mock everything up so we can get it in the proper position. But the front bumper came out absolutely wonderful, and I'm sure the rear will too.
It's going to look really good and really finish off this rear end. You forgot what it looks like with the bumper on there, you know?
Yeah, you know, the bumpers on these cars, that big chrome that they did back in the days in the 50s, it looks wonderful.
I'm glad you were able to find it set.
Yeah, me too. Well, we're getting ready to put the bumper together. It's a two-piece bumper. And so we're just looking at everything, getting all of our nuts and bolts set up, and then we're just going to go ahead and start to assemble.
You guys want to make sure that when you're using your hardware, you have a flat washer on the head of the bolt, then you have another flat washer, then your lock washer, and then your nut. It's very important you do this because you don't want these things to vibrate off.
We're just getting all the brackets all set up, and then we're going to go ahead and put it on the car, make sure it's going to fit where it needs to, then we're going to go ahead and clean the metal up, and then we'll weld it in position. What we did is we lined the bumper in, and then after we lined it, we used a set of C-clamp to make sure that the bumper was in the proper position. We looked at it from a lot of different angles to make sure it's exactly what we wanted. Then we tacked it. After you tack it, look at it again before you weld. You always want to tack before you weld, because if there's something not quite right, you can grind it off and reposition it. So we tacked it, looked at it, checked it, everything looked good. Then Sam went ahead and welded it. Now I'm going to put a little paint on it just to protect it from rust.
We are really taking care of this Thunderbird project. This rear bumper looks really good. What do you think, Doug?
I think it looks absolutely fantastic, Sam. You know, after going through what we went through on the front bumper, trying to get everything, this second bumper went so much easier. We had everything laid out. We didn't make any mistakes putting it together. It came out really nice.
Yep. And this is a OEM old school refurbished bumper, so it's going to have some bends in it. It's not going to fit totally great. If you have an 1/8 or an inch, quarter-inch gap here and there, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up trying to line it up perfect.
Yeah, because when they made them, they stamped them back in the day. Everything didn't quite fit like it does today. The way it came out, it really came out nice.
Replace your hardware, use washers, make sure nothing comes out so you go down the road, your bumper stays on the car.
It's not good when they fall off.
Rodents are a huge problem. At my shop for the last 20 years, I can't tell you the damage that I've seen these guys create in vehicles. NHOU has come up with Mouse Out.
So what we do is we know that mice do not like to touch the oil. We also know they have very sensitive smells. So what we do is we put an essential oil in there. It's a menthol smell known to be a deterrent. We also put something in there that fools them into thinking that there is a cat in the area, so it's a predatory. One of the problems today is that they're using a soy to coat wires, which used to be a petroleum base, in an effort to go green. The problem is that is something that the mice are attracted to. This product has been very effective in being a deterrent, and as a byproduct of deterring the rodents, you're going to protect those electrical connections, and if any metal surface that you put it on, an RV, a boat trailer, farm equipment, you're going to have a rust protectant there as well.
That's very useful. And let me tell you guys something. Rodents don't just create problems with the wiring, but they'll get in there and they'll eat up the insulation. They'll cause problems with the hoses. They may even get into the serpentine belt. When you crank the car, it makes a huge mess. So if you guys have an issue with rodents, check out Mouse Out from NHOU.
Welcome back to more Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. James, Santo, and Mike from Action Off-Road visit Sam's Garage to help install a new exhaust on this Can-Am side-by-side. The new exhaust is made from stainless steel, so it will last the life of the vehicle. It'll also add a couple horsepower even on the stock tune.
Our side-by-side project from actionoffroad.com. Mike, this is exciting. We're doing the exhaust system and the toe plate this week.
Oh, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to get these shiny goodies bolted onto this car, make it tough, and make it sound good in the process.
Absolutely, and that toe hook is going to really help us, right?
Oh yeah, especially take any kind of hard hit on the side, it's going to fold the stock one. That one definitely will not fold.
And what kind of horsepower and sound do you think we'll get out of that exhaust?
With a stock tune, roughly 2 to 4 horsepower. The sound's gonna be a lot better. The stock exhaust is very quiet.
And it's got stainless steel construction to last the life of the rig, right?
Yep, and also gets rid of the stock cat, which gives it also more exhaust flow and a lot less heat.
And sound. James, what's the first step in installing this exhaust system?
Well, first we're gonna have to go in here, pull the exhaust cover off. It's got a couple bolts holding it from the side here. Come up front, we're gonna move these seats out of the way, and it has a turbo access panel. We're gonna pop the access panel open, get the V-band clamp off there, pull the exhaust off.
That turbo, that's on the turbo, the V-band's on the turbo itself.
Yes.
Cool. So we got the complete old exhaust out of the side-by-side now, and we're gonna be going back in with the new one. Any tips and tricks here before you guys go back in?
Yeah, for one, we're gonna use the old exhaust tip just for vanity's sake, and also we're gonna use the old spark arrestor too. It keeps any kind of backfire flame from catching fire, like you're in weeds and won't catch anything on fire. So we're gonna put it back in there. A lot of places require it. Better safe to have it. Loctite, everything.
And then before you introduce heat to it,
always wipe it off. Any kind of fingerprints you have on there will burn into it, and you're gonna have a permanent fingerprint mark in your brand new stainless steel pipe.
yeah, you don't want that. That looks so good. Santo, that exhaust system really looks good. Installed easy. I can't wait to hear it. And that toe plate, very nice. That was also an easy install. Looks so much beefier.
Less than 5 minutes, and it's going to be a lot better product for sure.
That's very cool. And you guys can get these same products for your Can-Am or side-by-side at actionoffroad.com.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. The Action Off-Road boys continue working on the Can-Am side-by-side by installing a set of rock sliders. The rock sliders help protect the side panels of your ATV, keeping them dent-free. Not to mention, they look great and are an awesome addition to any all-terrain vehicle.
You know, these side-by-sides cost a lot of money, and you guys want to protect your investment. So actionoffroad.com sells rock sliders or Nerf bars for the bottom sides of the vehicle. Pretty much what do they do, James?
So they keep all the rocks off your body panels. When you're on the trail, you can't always turn around, and sometimes you need some extra protection to keep all the rocks off your body panels. And that's where it comes into play.
Cool. It's pretty easy to install?
Most of the time, yeah. Sometimes a little tricky, but just drill some holes and a little bit of pry bar action, we'll get her in there.
So in our case, it sounds like it's not going to be easy. Good job.
No, we got it. They were putting silicone in these holes as a form of Loctite. Essentially, if you use blue Loctite and these things take a hard hit with a rock, it's going to break the Loctite loose. And this way, the silicone keeps the bolt from vibrating out if that does happen, and you can take it out easily. So here's a tech tip for everybody. First off, this back hole here is attached to a long piece of plastic, and you have to drill it extra deep to get that piece of plastic out. It's kind of a pain, but it's doable, obviously. Another thing too is make sure you drill these holes oversized, because if you don't, as you can see here, the clearance on them is very close. If you drill it exact size, you're not gonna have enough clearance to get the rock guard in.
You know, James, this thing's really coming along. I like the way that looks, and it's strong enough to where you can strap it down on your rig.
Oh yeah, you can strap it down, hit rocks, whatever you need to do, it'll protect you.
Now, what's the difference between the tree kickers and the rock slide?
All right, so a tree kicker will keep the trees out of this area back here, also keep the trees off of the rear wheel.
That's pretty cool. And if you're going down the trail and there's one sticking out, just bounce the side-by-side off.
Correct, instead of cracking the wheel, it just bounces off to the side. And CT does a great job making these. They're super strong, great product. They fit really good too.
Easy to install, to be honest with you. That was pretty easy.
Super easy.
Very nice. Man, this is going to be pretty cool, Santo. It's coming along really well.
Yeah, it really is.
It looks like a lot of fun. Now, what do you do?
We have a race shop. I've been in business for like 23 years. You know, we build these things from the ground up, put all the race accessories and stuff on that Action Off-Road sells, and we build all their race cars and stuff that they use for all the cross-country races, and we build their stuff to go to the Baja 1000 down in Mexico as well.
When people go to the events, do you take their vehicles with them? Do you go and give them race support on the weekends?
We have a bunch of customers that we take their machines and we race prep them. We load them up in our trailer, we take them to the race events, unload them, get them ready for the customers to race, and then they'll race them. And after they're done, they'll hand them back to us and we take them back, we clean them, disassemble everything, and go through it all, make sure it's ready to go for the next round.
Sounds like you guys provide a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah, we do, you know, and a lot of people put a lot of trust in us, you know, and I got a lot of great guys that help us. James is one of them, and it just takes a team effort to get everything ready to go each round.
So how do your side-by-sides or rigs compare in the field?
A couple weeks ago, we just had the top 3 finishers, top 3 overall, and Jason and his son was the 2 top ones, and then we had another guy that we built his car as well. And so we had the whole podium filled up of our guys.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it really is.
I can't wait. Maybe one day I'll come to one of these events and drive one of these.
Absolutely, come see us.
Absolutely, sounds good. All right, join us. We'll be accessorizing the side-by-side even more from actionoffroad.com.
Be sure to check out Sam's Garage on these other media platforms. Send us questions and feedback to info@samsgaragetv.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Sam's Garage. This week, Sam and Kevin installed new aluminum inner fenders on the Jeep Wrangler. Sam and Doug buttoned up the rear of the T-Bird with a new chrome bumper. Action Off-Road stopped by Sam's garage to help with installing a new stainless exhaust and a set of rock sliders on a Can-Am side-by-side.